Yeah.
You want it now?
Okay, guys, we're back today on Eclipse. Any questions on the stuff we went over? We've covered a lot of stuff already, and we have a lot of stuff yet to cover. Any questions on the stuff we've gone over so far?
So many questions.
Really?
I tried during our testing to do all that, and none of it ever worked.
Well, guys, you know, and the thing about it is do it during practice. Like when you go home and practice, do this stuff during practice, because like during a test, it's inevitable that something is going to happen that you can't figure out. And now you've messed up a test. And hopefully it's not one that you passed. But this is supposed to help you edit quicker, okay? Not make problems. But if you don't use it, you're not going to know how to use it. But you don't want to use it in important times like testing. If you think you have the movements around, you know, that's cool or whatever. You know, we're getting ready to get into like prefixes and suffixes. That's pretty cool stuff. It's good. It's going to save you a lot of time. But those commands that I gave you on the hyperkeys are priceless when you learn how to use them. If you don't, you know, you're going to get mixed up. You're going to end up somewhere else. You're not going to know how to get back. You're not going to know how to do. And that's why I'm saying use it. So when we come back, you're like, hey, sir, this thing took me to the end of the page and I didn't know how to get out. And you know, what? Don't freak out. All right? But if you use it and you come back with questions, that's why I want you to use it. Come back with questions. Hey, you know, I thought S was delete. No, S isn't delete. Okay? D's delete. Remember? They try to put the letter with what they're trying to do, like O for print. Remember? So that, okay? You in the back.
Sometimes Z doesn't work for me to read, like it doesn't do anything. And it doesn't,
You have to be in hyperkeys.
I am.
And it has to be like right after you did it. So it can't be like, you know, you did it and you're typing in some stuff and then you move around and then you're typed in some other stuff and you did another command and oh, now I want to do Z. You know, it's not always going to work. And you have to do it a couple of times. Don't just do it one time and it didn't work. Do it a couple of times, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. It should work like on the second, third time. You know, and usually it's the second time, and I don't know why it does that. You know, if it sets itself back up and then it, you know, goes back and corrects it or what it does, I'm not sure. But, you know, hit the Z a couple of times and it should go back. But if it sends you to like a form field, you know, where you're filling in a blank, now you have to escape, then push Z. But if you push Z, it's not going to do anything. It's going to probably start typing like Z. So you have to be in hyperkeys, because if you're not in hyperkeys, what's it doing? It's just typing Z. You're just in a word processor. So it's just typing Z. Hyperkeys is the commands. Okay? Fat, depressed, or super sad, whatever you want to call it.
So along those lines, what was it, Wednesday?
Yes, it's hot. Oh, was that? Oh.
You were talking about that replace thing, like when you had a word and you replaced it with something else and then you wanted to go back to that word. Do you have to do it like right then and there, like she was doing with the Z thing? Or is it something that you should be able, I mean, it was from Wednesday.
Explain it one more time.
Video. Say, I think the word was productive or something like that, or
yeah.
Produce. And you switched it to something else and you decided you didn't want that word, you switched it back to the original word. I tried it and I couldn't get it to do that, and I was just...
Okay, so like if you're doing it right here, and I think I know what you're talking about, but let's just say you're right here, and you're in hyperkeys, and you want must to be most. And throughout the whole document, you typed must, and it's supposed to be most, okay? Get out of hyperkeys, which is what? N. And then type most, type enter, or hit enter, get you back in, fat, depressed, super sad, whatever. HYP, hit it again, it deletes it. Okay? All right? So now do Z.
Can you go through it one more time so we can write down the steps?
All right. Super slow. Pay attention. You have must. It's supposed to be most. Okay? So you get out of hyperkeys, you're in hyperkeys, which is what? Alt Z. You get out of hyperkeys, which is what? N. And you type most. M-O-S-T. Okay? You wanted to do it every time. Every time that must was there, you want it to be most. Pay attention. Pay attention because this is very important stuff. If you do it like this, every time you get on must, now it's going to put most. If you just want to do it that one time, then space over, hit enter, you're ready to go. No problem. Okay? And it's not going to do it every time you do must. Okay? It's not a super big deal, but it's going to do it every time. And this is one thing that if you're not paying attention to what you're doing or not paying attention right now, can confuse you. Okay? And I'm going to show you why. Because if you have must and you need it to be most every time, or at least in this document, then you get out of hyperkeys, which is what? N. Type most. Now you type hit enter, which gets you back into hyperkeys. Hit enter again, deletes it, which is what you need. Okay? Now doing Z, check it out. Doing Z brings it back to must. Okay? Pay attention. So now when you get out of hyperkeys, you're on must, you need it to be most, guess what it does? Now it puts most in there. Okay? Well, you messed up and you did it the wrong way. It's not always going to be most. Now it needs to be more. Well, don't freak out. It's not that big of a deal. It's just giving you the suggestion. Last time you were at must, you put most. And you clipped it. Okay? So by clipping it, you're getting back in, deleting the word. Okay? Well, no big deal. This time I need it to be more. Well, don't freak out. It doesn't have to be. Now you just start typing. All right? Hit enter, get back into hyperkeys, and then you hit what for delete a word?
Enter again.
Enter.
D. No, D.
Oh, okay.
Because now if you hit enter again, it's just going to go like to the next. Yeah. So if you hit enter again, the only time that it's going to delete is when the two words are together, that you're replacing that word. That's the only time it's going to delete it on enter. Now to delete a word, what do you need to do? Huh? D. D for delete. Okay? So now you hit D, and it deletes it. No big deal. Okay? But if you're not paying attention and you do it that way, you need to know how to do it both ways. Because if you do it the other way, it's not that big of a deal. You just start typing. It's not, oh God, now most is there. Okay? Type over it. It's just giving you a suggestion is all it's doing. That's what the highlighted thing is doing. It's just giving you the suggestion. The last time that it was must, you put most. Well, I did it wrong, and I don't need most. I need more. Okay. Well, then that's how you do it. Just type more. Hit enter. Get back into hyperkeys. Space forward. Hit delete, which is what? D. That's it. Okay. Got it? You sure? I'll write it down.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions about that?
Now, if you wanted to, like you said, that word appears, let's say 5 times in your document.
Yeah.
You wanted to replace one word with another word. You hit hyperkeys, you hit F, and you just fill in the box. Once it's fine text, and you just replace it.
You could do it that way.
Okay.
You could.
The only thing that I probably, like, when you were explaining it, the more, where it comes out in other words. I didn't get that.
Where it comes out in the other words.
Like other words.
Like if it
Throughout
changes it?
yeah.
It just gives you a suggestion.
Oh,
Yeah,
So when you-
that's all it is.
Suggestions.
So like you replaced it. You replaced it. Wow.
You'll be teaching English next semester.
Yeah, I will be teaching English. So you replaced it last time with much or most. Okay? So you hit N. Well, see, it still gives you most. So now it's in there. It gives you the word, but it's just a suggestion. It's no big deal. But you need more. Okay? Just start typing more. Now you hit enter, get back in, space forward, delete, which is what? D. So you're like, oh, you know what? I messed up. Type Z. You hit Z enough times, it'll go back to where it was. And that's what it was.
Z
It's
by
good.
itself.
Huh?
Z by itself.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, you know, Katie was saying, you know, or asking, you know, well, sometimes it doesn't do it. Well, I guarantee you did something. Because usually if you'll do it, right after you did it, it should work. For the English. For that. All right?
You did it.
Any questions about that?
You did it incorrectly.
What did I say?
You do it, and you did it.
Translated it. What did I say? I don't know. Okay, so now we're going to talk about special globals. All right? Guys, pay attention. Okay? I know you probably are, but you really need to pay attention because this involves your dictionary. And once you mess that up, you're going to start having some problems, and it's not good. But the software makes it super easy to do this stuff if you pay attention and you do it right. Okay? So everything, total eclipse, dictionary entries use braces. Does everyone know what the brace is? It's not parentheses. It's not the parentheses. It's right there by the P, by the letter P. Does everyone see it on their?
Yes.
That's the brackets. These are brackets, braces. Okay? So when I say,
Brackets are the ones without the wiggly thing, right? It would be under these. There's braces on top and brackets on bottom? On the keyboard.
What?
huh?
On the keyboard.
On the keyboard next to the P.
Are you speaking English?
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're
Is
saying.
that, yeah? So
Where does it say?
braces
So
are on
there's-
top, brackets are on bottom. On
So
that
the little
P.
squigglies are
Oh,
on
yeah,
top
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't need, and I'm going to show you.
Don't write on that board though.
Pay attention.
I'll put the Magna Carta on this. I'm going to do it tomorrow when I get back. This is what you need. I don't know if I did that right, but you don't need that.
like a puppet.
This is yes. This is no.
Yeah.
All right? So does everyone know the difference between
Yes. and-
brackets and braces?
Yes.
Yes.
You need this.
Braces.
Okay? That's what you need. If you do it wrong, it's not going to do what you want it to do. It's not going to know what you're doing. But if you do it right, it's minimal stuff you have to do because the software sets it up where it's super easy. Okay? So you have to pay attention to what you're doing. Okay? All right.
Let's see how braces are used for special text within dictionary entries. Eclipse dictionary entries use braces to surround text that must not be inserted literally. This includes paragraph symbols, punctuation marks, prefixes, suffixes, and other entries that you don't necessarily make every day. The globaling and dictionary entries dialogues offer help for creating special entries. You can either press Ctrl-E or drop down the list. Where entries require you to type, as in the case of a suffix.
And this is pretty cool because this little thing right here, like I'll show you after the video. I'll show you after.
Your cursor is automatically positioned at the spot where you need to type text. While globaling, you can use shortcuts to insert symbols for paragraphs or punctuation. Thus, F2 opens the speaker list, so you can choose a name that's already there, or insert a new one. F3 inserts the symbol for a question, and F4 an answer.
So it's that simple, guys. It's that simple, okay? And we're gonna do it right now. So do Control D. see if I can minimize this. I'm gonna get out of it and do it. Okay, so do Control D. All right. So you should have this little box. Does everybody have that?
Yes.
Okay. So now do S T K P W R. So you can type them in. You don't have to go up there and left click them all. Do the letters. It makes it so much quicker. So just do S T K P W R. Don't do the H. Okay? And what's that? Huh?
Is that,
Somebody said it.
Question?
It's a question, okay? You're one letter off of a question. Guys, trust me, it's gonna happen, okay? You're not gonna hit that question bank right every time, okay? I do, but.
you've been doing it forever.
Yeah, Jesus taught me. But it's gonna happen. And if you did it once, you're probably gonna do it again, okay? So it's not going to conflict with anything, okay? So now hit OK. Don't get ahead of me. Just do what I'm telling you. Did everybody's bring up that?
Yes.
Yes.
So what do you need to do?
Hit one.
Just hit 1. Don't get ahead of me.
The regular one?
You see how it's set? Huh?
The regular one or F1? The
Regular, just 1.
Okay.
Stay with me, guys. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. It's just, you know, if I need it to be the F1, I'll tell you the 1. But I mean, we want to do it right, so ask. But I mean, just stay with me. I'll tell you if we're gonna get difficult. Okay? That right there. So the bracket, Q bracket. That's all you need to do, and it knows to put the question mark. I mean, to put the period at the last sentence, return, question, space, 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 cap next. Just by doing that. You don't have to do, guys, and back in the day when I first started, you had to do that whole thing. Period, return, capital Q, period, space, space, cap next. Wow. This is all you have to do now. And if you do it right, that's all you have to do. But if you just put the Q up there, it's not gonna do it. You have to put the brackets. You have to put the braces. Okay? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Does anyone not understand? Okay, and more than likely, if you've already done it, and the artificial intelligence and the is going to help you. It's usually always going to give you the suggestion. Is this what you want to do? Yeah, it is. Push number 1. Push number 1, put it in there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time, guys. You don't have to put bracket, Q, bracket. If it was the number 1, all you do is hit number 1, put it in there. Do you want it in your main? Absolutely you do. Because if you did it once, you're probably going to do it again.
And it defaults to main, right?
And it always defaults to main. Okay? So I'll let you know when we need to use a job dictionary or something like that. This is when you need to use your main. Okay?
Could we just hit OK so that it's...
Yeah, so then you just hit OK. I mean, which you don't really need to there, but I mean, if you want to, you can. You can, it's not going to hurt anything. So if you need to, put it in there, because if it's not in your dictionary, it probably needs to be. Okay? Because you'll probably do it.
If it's in the dictionary already, will it come up and say, you know, do you want to replace it? It's already in your dictionary? Or
No, it'll just
Okay.
put it in there.
Okay.
It'll just put it in there.
Because probably answer's not in there either.
Because, well, I mean, the thing about that is it's going to be in the body of your text. So if it came up and it wasn't a question, then it's not in your dictionary. If it already came up, a question, and you were missing, you know, the R out of it or the H, well, then you know it's not in your dictionary. So if it doesn't come up, then it's not in there. Okay? Does
So it was in
And
there.
I'm sure as you guys are starting out now, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that's not in your dictionary.
Right.
A lot of the Q's and A's, and you're gonna find once we start doing the speaker identifications of the court and stuff like that, you have so many letters that you can be missing one. And you think, well, how many times could I do that where, you know, if I leave out a letter, it's thousands. You think it's not, it's thousands of different ways that you could write the court by using these 4 fingers, you know, with all, you know, 2 letters that are on each finger. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, that's 16 letters right there that you're pushing, 16 buttons that you're pushing. And if you leave one out every time in a different scenario, it's a ton of times that you can do it wrong, okay? Does everyone understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right.
Let's see how braces are used. The Globaling and Dictionary.
You know what? I'm going to play it again. Just
See
kind
how
of pay
braces
attention.
are used for special text within dictionary entries. Eclipse dictionary entries use braces.
And that's what I was just talking about. If you hit it correct, that's all you have to do. It's that simple on how you define it. That's it. You don't have to put anything else. Okay? No question, period, space, cap next, or whatever. It's that simple.
To surround text that must not be inserted literally. This includes paragraph symbols, punctuation.
And it's the same thing with punctuation, guys. You don't have to put, you know, if it's a comma, you don't have to put, well, put it together, comma, space, next letter. You don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is put the brackets and whatever symbol it is. Whatever it is, that's it. Okay, it's that simple. And it should be in there already. So you really shouldn't have to mess with it. But if you leave one letter off, you might want to see if it's gonna, you know, and with these, there's only 4 letters, so I mean, it may be something that conflicts with something else, so be careful with that, okay? It may just be you need to be a little more careful on hitting your punctuation.
Punctuation marks, prefixes.
But prefixes and suffixes the same way. So on the prefixes, that's all you have to do. Brackets, whatever it is, which is which is a prefix.
Before.
So it's, what is it? I'm sorry?
Beginning of the word.
Yeah, so it's going to attach itself to the next word. It's not going to attach itself to the word that was before it, okay? Because that would make it a what?
Suffix.
A suffix, okay? So the prefix, and if you don't put that caret in the right place, guess what? You messed it up. So if it's a prefix, now you just, you know, made a suffix. You know, so, the caret is on the one of the number 6.
Oh, yeah.
It's on number 6. Okay? So you're gonna have to do shift 6 to get the caret in there. Okay? But it already knows by doing that, that's all you have to do. It doesn't tell you, hey, put the word together, you know, whatever word it was, you don't have to. It already does it by doing that and putting the braces.
Suffixes, and other entries that you don't necessarily make every day. The Globaling and Dictionary Entries dialog.
Now this is pretty cool, guys. Pay attention right here because the special entries is pretty cool. And I'm going to stop it again once they open the box, and I'm going to show you how many different things you can do.
Offer help for creating special entries. You can either press Control-E or drop.
So see how many things you can do? You can say, you know what, I need a special entry. God, I can't remember how to do that. You know what? I mean, I need to make a prefix, and I don't remember how to do that. Don't freak out, okay? All you have to do is drop down the box on the special entry, do P, and it'll bring it to prefix. So if you do the first letter of whatever you want, if it's not the first one, like let's say it was
Centered.
S, but you needed speaker paragraph. Well, guess what? You push S, it's going to go to special characters. S again goes to suffix. S again goes to speaker. Oh, I need speaker paragraph. So you push, just keep pushing S and it'll go to the one that you need. It's pretty cool. You don't have to scroll down and scroll up. You don't have to do it. Just remember what the first thing that it starts with is, and it'll go to it. Well, I need prefix. Push P. guess what? It's the first one. It's going to go right to prefix. And you push enter, watch what it does.
Down the list. Where entries require you to type, as in the case of a suffix, your cursor is
It automatically sets it up for you. It sets the caret there, it puts the braces there, and it puts the prompt right where you need it to be. All you have to do is type it in now. That's all you have to do. It's that simple. So you don't even have to remember how to set it up. All you have to do is remember the special entry and go to the right thing. Don't go to the prefix if it's a suffix, and don't go to the suffix if it's a prefix, but if you get it right, it sets it up for you. You don't even have to remember how to do it. You should, but I mean, you know, let's just say you forget, oh man, I forgot how to set up a prefix. Go to global it, go to the special entries, automatically does it.
automatically positioned at the spot where you need to type text. While globaling, you can use shortcuts to insert symbol.
And this is pretty cool. This is one of the speaker identifications that they use. Okay, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but they're going to go through some stuff and explain some stuff, and I'm just going to explain it real quick. But this is a speaker identification. It's not one that I use. I'm going to show you some different ones. You can use this. It's an option. So when we get to speakers, you're going to have that option, okay? But this is a speaker identification for them, and this is how you set it up. So it's going to, you know, it'll give you these options of what you want to do. Is that a speaker? Or when you open F2, that's your speakers, okay? And it's going to tell you that.
For paragraphs or punctuation. Thus, F2 opens the speaker list.
So it opens up a speaker list. Well, you know what? The two people taking this deposition are Mr. Griffin and Mr. Burge. Well, I need that one for Mr. Griffin. Put your arrow right there, left click on it, it highlights it, it already knows, push enter. Watch what it does. Or not. Save.
So you can choose a name that's already there, or insert a new one.
So if the name that's there isn't the one you need, no big deal. Let me back it up just a little. If it's not there, no big deal. You come up here into the thing, insert the name, Mr. Green. It's going to put it in number 3, and it's already going to stay in there because you just typed it in. So then you press enter.
There, or insert a new one. F3 inserts the symbol for a question.
So you see how it put it in there? It put the Mr. Green in there. Do you want it in your main?
No.
No, because it's a speaker. So you're not going to use that symbol unless you take Mr. Green's deposition every day for the rest of your life, which you're not. You know, and he's the lawyer that, you know, that you use all the time, and that's his symbol, and that's going to be the only person that ever has that symbol. It goes into a job dictionary, okay? So the next time the speaker identification comes up, it comes up blank. Well, you know what? Today is Mr. Burge has that. Okay, put it in a job dictionary. Tomorrow is Mr. Smith. No problem, put it in a job dictionary. So it's always going to change. Y'all get that? Mm-hmm. So be real careful with putting it in your main and your job dictionary. Yeah.
So you wouldn't necessarily recommend that then in instances where you deal with the same people all the time? That
You're not going to take the deposition of people all the time, the same people all the time. And if you're going to court, holy cow. You know, if you ever sat in my old court, you're going to use that symbol about 25 times a day for 25 different people. Yeah, so you don't want to put it in your main. You know, when you have Mr. Green come up every time, and you know, it's Mr. Valdemar, and then the next hearing is Mr. Smith, and the next hearing is, you know, Mr. Rodriguez, but you have Mr. Green coming up every time because you weren't paying attention, and you put it in your main, which is no big deal. Don't freak out. There's a way to change it, but what I'm saying is don't get to that point where you make the mistake. But you can always change it. And there's ways to change it by going in your dictionary and highlighting that thing, hitting enter. I'll show you in a little bit. I don't want to get too confused right now. Too confusing.
And F4, an answer to insert the symbol.
So remember I told you F3 is what?
Question.
Question. And F4 is what?
Answer.
Answer. So let's just say you had an answer and it's not in your dictionary. You highlighted it, well, it's not one of the choices that comes up right here. No big deal. Press F4, it's automatically going to put it in there. F3 puts a question. F4 puts an answer. That easy. And when you do it, it knows that F3 is the question, so it already sets it up in the bracket. Already does it for you. Okay? That's why I'm telling you guys to use this stuff. Use it. Because I know the first time you go to use it is going to be on a test that you think you passed, and you're going to mess something up. Do it in your practice and mess with it. You know what, I want to try setting up a question answer thing. I know I took a literary test. Who cares? Get on a sentence, push F3. It's going to set it up in a question. Who cares? Now you push Z, puts it back, or just leave it like that. It was just a practice. It doesn't matter. Use this stuff. And especially the hyperkeys. Use that stuff. Especially in a practice. You know, and this is like when, oh, you know what, I can't have those headphones on anymore. You know, but, you know, I want to mess around with the computer a little bit. That's when you do it. Give yourself a little break from working on your machine, get on your computer, and use the software a little bit. That's how you take your break and get your mind off of it a little bit. Then you go back to practicing. So this way, when you set it up, and it's real funny how it works, guys. When you do something new, and it's kind of cool, now you get like way into it. It's like, man, now I want to do it. Now I want to do all this stuff. I want to put word endings, and I want to put punctuation, and I want to, you know, and now it makes it interesting. You get way into it, and now you want to do it. Wait till we get into stuff where you can do stuff on your machine, and it starts bringing in block files. That's when it gets really cool. Okay?
For a comma, press Control comma. Likewise, Control period. For a quick question mark, press Control slash. There's also Control semicolon and Control colon, which would involve the Shift key. Control tilde inserts the symbol for a lock space.
So you can do all of this stuff by doing Control. Once you've already global, it should already be in your dictionary. So you shouldn't need to do this. But it's saying if for some reason you started at ground zero with no dictionary and you have to put every entry in there, then this is it. This is how to do it. But it should already be in there. Okay?
However, if you have an entire phrase whose words you want to keep together, you can use the lock button.
So remember I was telling you about the tilde, the lock, and all of that? You can use this button and it does it for you. And just keep pushing lock. And we'll do it here in a little bit. It's actually pretty cool. And you can do it and it's good, okay? So like when you need stuff together, you don't want your and honor on different lines. So you don't want the last word to be your and then honor. It's always supposed to be together. Mr., Mrs., Doctor, Sergeant, Colonel, all of those things need to be together. And that's how you do it, okay? You put that little tilde and it knows to keep it together with whatever name is next. Y'all get that? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Press the lock button again, and you'll get hyphens.
Y'all understand the difference between the tilde and the lock and the hyphens? So like if they say Jack in the box, you don't want it to be Jack in the box. You understand that? Mm-hmm. It's always going to be together. Always going to be Chick-fil-A, stuff like that. You don't want it to be Chick and then Filet. It's always supposed to be. It's always supposed to stay together, and that's what these things do. When they lock it, it doesn't come out like that. You don't have to worry about. You know, yeah, it does. If it has the little tilde, it doesn't come. It doesn't show it together. It just keeps it together. So it doesn't come out. You know, when you print it. If you do it like this, it does. Okay. And that's the name of the store, At the Door Store, okay? And that's the way it is. It's hyphenated. Yeah.
Tilde and lock button keep things together.
Yeah, but
you have to use both of them. Like
no, the lock button.
Yes.
The lock button uses the tilde and it uses the hyphen. So the hyphen comes out just like that. So it is going to print like that. The tilde is a little thing, the little squiggly line or whatever. It just knows to keep it together.
Keep words together even though they don't have hyphens.
Even though they don't have hyphens. So your honor is not hyphenated,
Yes.
okay? So it's, I don't know that that's right. It should be at the door, and then store is just by itself. So it's at the door store, I think. But whatever, they're just giving you an example.
Press it a third time to get back to regular spaces.
So if you keep doing it, it'll take you back to where you were. Oh, I don't want that. Well, I want the tilde. Well, you hit it, and you went past it, and now you went to the hyphens. And it's like, oh, you know, I didn't want that. God, I already messed it up. Just keep hitting lock, and it'll just keep changing it. It'll toggle it, you know, from whatever you need to what you need. Does that make sense? I don't know if I said that right. Just keep doing it, and it'll toggle to what you need.
It's a bunch of shortcuts, but it can really save you time.
All right, any questions about that? And it's real simple, guys. Real simple. Don't make it harder than it needs to be, okay? Question is just like that. Answer is just like that. You don't, you know, I guess if, you know, if they're reading from a transcript and they say question, you know, blah, 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 and the answer, blah, blah, you know, I guess it needs to be like that, and that's how you would do it. But, I mean, I don't know that you have a special symbol for it, and if you do, wow. Yeah, you're gonna do well. But, you know, like the speaker, if you drop down, you know, like your different speakers, you don't have to know how to set this up, but you have to set it up like this, guys. It has to be the braces, S for the speaker, semicolon, I mean, not colon, I'm sorry, not semicolon, colon, and then put the name. You don't have to do this. If you open down that special entry and keep typing S, it'll go to speaker. Hit enter, automatically sets it up, brace, capital S, colon, then you put the name. That's all you have to do. And it puts the prompt exactly where you need to type it in. And it does it for you. So the special entries, what you got?
What was that video that you showed us? So you can like go back and everything.
It's under braces. It's the first video under braces. You got it?
Yes.
Okay. So guys, this one is pretty important. Okay, this one and the next one, I don't know if we're gonna get to it tonight, because I want to be able to spend a little bit of time with it, is prefixes and suffixes. Very important, very important. So I don't, you know, we may just do this one tonight, and we'll see how far we get. But like on a delete stroke, if you have a certain delete stroke that you want to use, usually it's just the asterisk by, huh? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, I noticed in the dictionary it has like prefix suffix dictionary on its own.
Yeah.
Can I put my medical terms in there, or should I make something separate for medical?
You can. You can actually, and I'm going to teach you how to make a separate dictionary thing, like if you just want medical terms. Yeah, so you can do stuff like that for medical terms. You know, if you do a lot of oil and gas, you know, one of your attorneys that you work for does strictly oil and gas. You can do oil and gas terms. It's pretty cool. And then, you know, when you go take an oil and gas and you know that these special briefs pertain to oil and gas, like fracking, you know, fracking and stuff like that, tripping pipe and bits and, you know, stuff like that, that you know pertains to oil and gas, you can make a whole separate dictionary that pertains just to those terms. Pretty cool. Yeah.
So when you set up, let's say, oil and gas dictionary,
Yeah.
or your medical terms dictionary, let's say you're working on an oil and gas deal, there was an accident, so you need to use also the medical.
Yeah.
Is there a way you can use both
Yeah.
dictionaries at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And it's that when you go into, I think it's TRAN, which is what?
Translate.
Hmm?
Translate.
Yeah, which is what? How do you get into TRAN? Translate.
You hit the,
Huh? Yeah, other than smarty pants. How else do you do it? Alt-T, remember?
yeah.
Alt-I is for inserting of of a job, Alt-T gets you in there. So let me see. So Alt-T, yeah. So right here. So now you want to do a real-time job. Okay, no big deal. Well, guess what? I want to do it's always going to put your main dictionary, but you know what? I have a medical, which I know because it was a guy that got hurt. So now I have like medical terms or whatever that are in there. And I have an oil and gas dictionary in there also. So now I want to go into dictionaries, and it's going to have medical, oil and gas, yeah, workers' comp. So all the different things that you want to do, you can make these dictionaries for. And all you do is say, you know what, I want to use this one because it's a medical, somebody got hurt, and I know that there's some of the terms that I use are in there, and oil and gas. So you select 1 and 2, and it's going to, you know, bring you back to here. Okay. Now you all right? Now it always keeps your main, and now it's going to have medical, oil and gas. You want to go into real time? Yes, I do. Okay, ready to go. So it takes you right into real time, and you've got those dictionaries already in there. It's that simple. By doing what? Alt-T. By going into translate. So you don't go straight into real time. If you're going to use a different dictionary.
You can go into real time and then define your dictionaries afterwards.
Yeah, you can.
Because you said the dictionary thing and it brings up all your dictionaries.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is a way to do it. This is kind of the easiest way to do it, to me. You know, so you just go into Alt-T. It already has real time. Boom, boom. Puts it in there. Ready to go. Okay? The auto includes is pretty cool. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time with it, but like when the court comes in and says, you know what, we're going to take a short break. We're going to take a short 10-minute break. Y'all go on break. My thing for that is break, break. Okay? And what it does is this. So the auto include is in the special entries, and we're going to get into that later, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, but it's actually pretty cool. But I know that my auto include is under break. So all of your block files, and I'm going to give them to you, are going to be in there. So all you do is break, break. So you're going to global break, break, which is what? How do you global? Or? Huh?
Control G.
Control G. Control G. So Control G because it's 2, or G and then Control G. To me, it's just easier to hit the Control G, you know. But if you're in hyperkeys, you can push G, Control G again because you need the break, break. Okay? So you need it 2 times because it's saying, now he's not talking about a break. When you do it twice, now you're telling it a command. Okay? So he said, we're going to take a 10-minute break. Okay, 10-minute break, period, break, break. If you don't put the period, then it's going to put the first break when he said break with the other break, and now it's going to put it as the block file. And now you have break after the block file. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense, sir? Yeah, whatever. I got you. I'm feeling you, dude. So, you never say anything, so just trying to get you to participate. Or wake up, I don't know. So now you needed to do a command. And the 2 together is going to do it. But you have to know to put the period, because if you don't put the period, it's going to put it together. Does that make sense?
Keep going like if you were still.
Yeah. So if he says, yeah, we need to take a 10-minute break, and then you hit break, break. Now it takes the first break and the second break and puts it together because it knows that break, break is a command. So now it's going to put the command in there, and then the next word that comes after that thing is going to be break when you needed break up there. Because now it's going to say, let's take a 10-minute. And then it's going to say, whereupon a short recess was had, or a short break was had. Okay? Y'all get it? Mm-hmm. You will. You will. When we get into it, you will. When we get into that part of it, you will.
Be sure and put a period after the word break if it's...
Yeah, and if he says, you know what, now we're going to break for lunch. Well, I do lun, lun, L-U-N, lun, lun. And it puts in a parenthetical that says, whereupon a recess was had for lunch. So all you're doing is telling the reader what just happened. Oh, they took a short recess for lunch.
So Lun will get you that.
Yeah, and you can put whatever you want. I mean, I do Lun because it's easy. You can put whatever you want. And when we get to that point, you're gonna have that option to do what you want. You don't have to put break. You can do dumb. I don't know. You know, you can put whatever you want. Whatever's gonna help you remember that you just took a break, you're gonna use it twice. Whatever's gonna help you remember that we just took lunch, well guys, work smarter, not harder. So you don't need to put lunch. Seriously? Now you're doing 4 strokes for something that you just need to know that it's doing this. So keep it simple, lun. But you know that it's, maybe 1 lun is, your stroke for lunch. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't do it that way. I do it lun and then I come back FP. So it's 2 strokes for me, but maybe you just do it lun. But if you say, you know what, let's take a small break for lun, and you do lun. Well, now it puts the 2 together and leaves the other one by itself. So if you didn't put that period, now it's not gonna know what to do. So it takes the first 2 and puts them together, and now it's a command. Does that make sense?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Guys, if it doesn't, tell me. If it doesn't, let me know. I'm sorry.
No, before you hit Lun, after you hit.
Well,
break for lunch.
and it all depends. It all depends, because if they say, you know what, we're going to take a 15-minute break right now, and you do break, then it's not going to matter. But if you said, you know what, now we're gonna take a small break, and then you do break, now it's going to do it. But if the break isn't with the other 2 breaks, then it's not going to matter. You don't have to have a period.
3 breaks, right?
I'm sorry?
Are you saying that there's 3 breaks?
If there's 3 breaks together and you didn't put the period after he said break, then yeah, it is. But if he said, you know what, we're going to take a small break right now. Well, the last word you said was now, and now you're doing break, it's not going to matter. Because it wasn't with the other break right after.
So as long as you don't have the 3 breaks together.
Yeah.
Separated with a period.
Yeah.
Does the system recognize what time you do that? Like if they go back and say, what time did we take that first break, and they ask you, would it record that time or no?
You can put time codes in there. And I'm going to show you how to do that too. How to put your time codes on. So I mean, if you're in a deposition, you really need to know that. You really need to know that, because you're the timekeeper. Okay, so you really have to pay attention to that. But if you're in court, it's not going to matter. Okay, so it is what it is. Who keeps moving?
I need a break.
Huh?
Break.
Yeah, can we say
Okay, so come down here to your turn. Come down to the your turn. Everyone. Is everyone right here?
No, not yet, wait.
Like on the TS?
Just somewhere in that beginning. Somewhere on that first line. It doesn't really matter where, but make sure you're up here, not down here somewhere or whatever. Make sure you're right up here.
Okay.
Got it?
Hyperkey.
Everyone there?
Yes.
Okay. Now just scroll over right, which is what? L. Okay, and come right here. Everybody right there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, how do you global? G. See what it does? It globaled it, put it in there. What do you want to do? What was it? It's an answer. So you go through all of these things. Which one is it? It's number 1. So just push 1, enter, fixed it.
Wait, David, how did you get to the, what did you push to get to the question?
To the
That thing.
how do you
Or the answer.
How do you get right? How do you move right?
Right.
L.
Left.
Huh?
You hit the letter L.
Hit
L.
the letter L.
L is right. So guys, you should be learning your movements.
Okay,
So
there it
J
goes. There it goes.
and L is left and right. I and K is what?
Oh, I
Up
missed
and
that.
down. Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah. So yeah. So guys, when I say left, what is that? J. J. Just throw one out. You got a 1 in 4 chance of getting it right. I'm just kidding with you. Yeah. So guys, learn those movements. Use that. You should be using it now. Learn it right now. Okay? So let's go to the next one. So go down, which is what?
Okay.
Okay. Go right, which is what?
L.
L. And you should be right here. Is everyone there?
Yes.
Okay. Global, which is what? G.
One.
What is it? Number 1? Yes. 1.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Enter. And that's all you have to do. It's that simple. It is that simple. Okay? So go down, which is what? Okay. Go right, which is what? Right there. Global, which is what? G. What's the right answer? Well, the only one. Push 1. Enter. Already does it for you. Okay? Keep it simple. Okay, so now we're going to talk about punctuation. Okay, you can go through there and correct all of those things if you want to. I think we got it. Does anyone not have it? Did anyone not get that? And it's okay if you didn't, guys. Tell me. Because if you didn't get it, you know, and the worst thing about it is if you don't get something, say something. Because if you don't, I'm going to assume that you got it and we're just moving on. But if you didn't get it, and you're like, I don't want to be the one to ask or whatever. If you're the one that asks all the time, you're going to catch some flack, but I mean, it's good stuff, okay? And really, it's just a laugh, okay? Guys, ask questions. Ask. Because if you have a question about it, more than likely somebody else does too, and they don't want to say something either, okay? So don't be scared to ask questions, okay? Unless you're these two right here. Then don't ask that many, or those 3 on that second row.
Really?
I don't know. Okay? So like doing it on punctuation, let's see if that's a, no, it's not. So really what it's telling us is FPLT is what?
Period.
It's a period, okay? And that's what it's telling you right there. So that's how you define it. That's simple. Brace, period, brace. That's it. Okay?
So wait, go back. So when you have that FPLT there and you know the periods at the end, do you leave the FPLT alone and it'll just kind of go away when you print it up? Or do you have to delete it? When I'm looking at it literally right now, we know that the periods at the end, do I delete the FPLT in the process?
It's not going to have a period right there.
Oh.
That is the symbol for period.
So that's a figure.
So it's not going to have the period.
Okay.
So what you need to do
telling
is,
us right now.
yeah. So what you need to do is global it, which is what?
G.
G, and put the period, which is what? What's the?
FPLT.
No.
Oh, you mean the
I'm saying how to
braces.
define it. How do you define it?
The braces.
The brace.
Open
Brace, period, brace,
And then save it.
and then put it in your main.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
That being said, I'm not gonna do it, but I'm just saying, I could reprogram, I could have, the period, I could push the letter D and a period would pop out every time I push it instead of getting FPLT. What I'm trying to say is I can reprogram the system to where instead of having to hit these 4 letters FPLT, I can just hit 1 letter and here's it.
Yeah. Be careful with that, though,
But
bro.
I'm just saying, it's possible.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Okay? But I mean, you could. I mean, if that's your symbol for period, I don't know that I'd want it to be that. But you know, be careful. Okay? But I mean, because they have this thing set up for a reason. Everything works. Everything works. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't try to get smarter than what it is. I'm going to show you ways of doing briefs, and it's going to be a lot easier, but don't reinvent the wheel on a lot of this stuff. The colors, the format, the doing a more simpler thing for a period. Guys, FPLT is pretty easy. And once you hit it, it's going to be like that question answer bank. It's going to come second nature. Okay? Doing the comma, doing the question mark, it's going to come second nature. So, you know, be real careful when you're putting stuff in your dictionary about changing a whole lot of things. But yes, you could, but I wouldn't. But you could, but don't. Ever. Ever. Okay, and this is how they're going to show you how to do the different things, and it's that easy. So doing the period, comma, question mark, semicolon, colon, all of that stuff. Okay, and it's that simple. You don't have to tell it what to do. Like on the colon, like when they say, let me ask you this, and you put a colon, space, space, capital letter. When you did go to the store, were you the one who shot the clerk? So you see what I'm talking about? Well, all you have to do is hit a certain thing for the colon, whichever it is, which mine is KLON, clon. You know, clon. So that's my colon, okay? Colon, it already knows to put it together, space, space, cap next, and all you have to define it as is that. And it knows what to do. Don't reinvent the wheel, okay? Just do what it tells you to do, and it knows what to do. Just like the, you know, prefixes and suffixes. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, okay? Like say they say, we had some stories that we told, and it came up story, and you know, it needed to be stories. Oh shoot, well I need to go to the end, shave off, drop off the Y, i.e. you don't have to do it. All you do is press W, which is for, I guess it's word endings, I don't know. But you know, it's prefixes and suffixes. And all you do is press S, and it knows to do it already. It drops the Y as the IES. It already knows what to do. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just tell it what to do. It'll do it. Okay? It's pretty cool if you do it right. If you don't, chiz what a chiz. Okay. This is pretty good too. So pay attention.
When you write quickly, your steno machine may register separate strokes as if they were written at the same time. Eclipse composite dictionary entries can unscramble this mess. This one dictionary entry performs 3 steps. First, it creates a question paragraph, then it inserts the word yes, then it ends the sentence with a period.
I don't get it. And some people write like this. It's not even stacking. Some people write like this to save 2 strokes. So by doing 1 stroke, you can do all of this. Now, if you can read that, and they ask you to read back, and you know that it's question yes, period, wow, yeah. You're gonna make a lot of money in this profession, okay? If you are that good, you're gonna make a lot of money, okay? But sometimes it just stacks. Sometimes you're going so fast, you haven't had time to adjust your machine. It's stacking because you're going so fast and your strokes are longer, and by the time you're coming up, you're already hitting the next stroke, so you're already going down before you're all the way up, and it's stacking it together, okay? Don't freak out. There's ways of doing it that if you keep doing it, there's ways of defining it that it already tells you what to do. Okay? And that's what they're telling you right here. And if you define it right, it's going to do the right thing. But if you just put question, capital yes, period, I don't know what you're going to come up with. Zero idea. It's going to look ridiculous. But if you define it right, you don't even have to put the capital yes, because it's already going to know to cap it, because it's in the question. I mean, it's in the question. Okay?
Is that part of a question, or was that supposed to be the question in itself? It's just a yes.
It's part of the question. Because if not, it would have been yes, period, question. So it would have been part of the answer. Yes would have been part of the answer, but here it's part of the question.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It's a brief for a question, yes.
I'm sorry?
It's a brief for a question, yes.
What?
Yes, it's a brief.
It's a brief for a question? Is that what you said? I
It's
didn't.
a brief
For
for,
writing the question and yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it could be a brief, and that's what I'm saying. Some people write like that. Holy cow. And if you can read it, fantastic. More power to you. You ought to be out of school in no time if you know how to read this. And you can put 3 strokes together, and it means that. Wow. You ought to be taking your state test probably in January. So you're going to be out of here quick if you already, you understand this. But sometimes it just stacks. And you know what? It does it. And I've done it several times, and I'm tired of messing with it. But define it. You can define it. If that's the way you write, you probably need to clean it up a little bit, but it is what it is. They're just giving you an example.
A suffix S was written, immediately followed by a question stroke. Eclipse understands. A glance at the list, it's choice 3. Of course, I could have also gotten...
So you see what they're doing there? Like you were going so fast and they said, well, how many? It's 2 bottles. Well, you added the suffix with the question mark. That's going to happen. G, S, T, L, all of those endings, D, Z, it's going to happen, okay? And if it does, and it happens more than once and you keep doing it, then define it, okay? And a lot of times, just like here, you're not the first one who's done it, okay? You're not the first one who's done it because guess what? Look how many different items they have to choose from. So that's how many different ways that it could have been misinterpreted. It could have been glass. They even give it to you right here. Did you mean glass out of that? Wow, if you did, you want to go practice a little bit. But it's possible. Maybe you did, okay? Not that big of a deal. But what they needed here was it was a suffix first, then the question. Do you get that? Because if you choose number 2, guess what you just did? What did you do? Huh? You made it a question. Now you have a suffix at the beginning of the question. That's not right. How are you going to start the question with S? That's not it. But, maybe that's what you needed. Maybe want to practice a little bit. But, I mean, it gives it to you. It gives it to you as an example. Okay? But really what it is number 3. Because it's part of the suffix of the last sentence. So the suffix needs to come first. So that it knows to put it together. Then it's the question. And watch what it's going to do.
Of course, I could have also gotten help from the special entries list, but because of the global magic features, even that help was not needed. I'll place this in my main dictionary.
So see what it did? Put the S on bottles, question, ready to go. That's simple. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shut up.
Anybody have questions about that? I think it's getting cooler in here. Okay, so now they're going to show you, there's different ways, and guys, if you understand it, great. I've been in this 26 years, and I still don't get it about this, and they call it, what is it?
Composite rules?
Well, they call it stack steno, but it's called a certain kind of writing where you stack it together, okay? And stacking is when you accidentally do it, I think. But it's called something else. But that's the way you do it. So they say question okay. Well, you put it together. And there's a way you can do it. If you want to, be careful. Okay? I mean, you can. It'll save you a stroke, you know? But, I mean, to me, it's just quicker if you just write it right. But let's just say you're stacking and you're accidentally stacking. You know what? And I keep doing it. I keep doing it. I don't know what it is. Every time I hit question okay, it keeps coming up like that. Well, if you've done it once or twice, or 64, 65, 66 times, you probably need to put it in your dictionary. Okay? And that's how you do it. But you have to define it right. So if you put the brace, question, okay, brace, is it gonna work?
No.
No, no, no.
No, it's not. This is the way you do it. This is the way you do it. And if you don't do it that way, it's not going to react the way that you need it to react. Okay? So there's even ways of doing, you know, like question yes period, like they just showed you. Okay, so now you can come down here to your turn. Everybody here?
Yeah.
Yeah? Everyone? Okay, come down, which is what?
Okay.
Okay. Go left, which is what? J. Get on right here. Global, which is what? G. What's the right choice? 1. So push 1, enter, and it already does it. So it knows to put the period, space, cap next. You don't have to do all of that. It does it for you, and it knows how to do it. Okay? So you can come right here, and let's just say, you know, you accidentally put the asterisk with it. With a what?
Asterisk.
Or that. So is everybody right here?
Yeah.
Globally, which is what?
G.
G. What's the answer? It's the only one, but yeah. Okay. So now you come down to this one.
Wait.
When there's a
Why is there a period
and
question mark?
mark.
Yeah.
You have to get rid of the question.
I didn't have a question like I had period, period.
I don't know. Well, what would you do right there?
Delete.
For what else?
D.
Huh?
Press D. Or
Wait, Z.
Highlighted.
Z?
No. I don't know. Maybe y'all may not know, and I'm just kind of testing y'all. But I thought, is that a question or an answer? I mean, is it a question or a statement?
Statement.
It's just a statement, right?
Right.
Okay, so you want to put a period right here at the end. Well, you have both. How do you put period? If you're right here, you know what? Heck, I'm right here. I'm right here at the beginning of the sentence. How do you put a period? Huh? P. Push P. See what it did? See what it did? Don't reinvent the wheels, guy. Don't reinvent the wheel. You don't have to go space down, L, over, backspace, delete. Seriously? Okay, let's just say it's right here. You're at the beginning of the thing, at the beginning of the sentence. Pay attention. Okay, eyes up here. Let's say you're right here. And you need a question at the end over here. What do you need to do? I'm sorry? You have to scroll to the second sentence. Because let's just say you needed a question mark right here. And how do you put a question mark in hyperkeys? Q. So push Q. Well, guess where it put it? On the wrong one. You needed it at the end. Okay? So I'm right here, and they're like, oh my God, how do I change it? It's a little bit different, so pay attention. If you're right here, you're at the beginning of the sentence, and you need it to be at the end of the other sentence, the preceding sentence, now you have to push the period. Not P, period, push period. See what it does? So when you do the question mark and the period as the question mark and the period, it's going to put it behind. It's always going to put it on the preceding sentence. Okay? If you do the P and Q, it's going to put it at the end. So let's just say we need a question mark right there. How do we do it? Q. And now it puts it at the end. But let's just say, I don't know if it'll do it or not. Let's see. No, it doesn't. So you have to be like on a sentence, okay? If not, then you have to get back in that sentence. Let's just say it needed a period right there. How would you do it? Get back in the sentence and then do what? P. Push P, put the period. Got it? So the period and the question mark precede. Q, P, at the end of that sentence that you're on. Got it? Everyone? Yeah? Okay. Now come down, get right here at the beginning of this word. So what does that need to be? I'm sorry? What is it? Guys, speak up.
Me, comma.
Me, comma, yes. So, you know what? I keep doing that, and I keep putting me with the comma, okay? We'll global it, which is what? G. Guess what it does? Does that mean marks, minutes, mercs, next, make? What does it need to be?
8.
No, it needs to be, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, 8. It needs to be 8. Just testing you. So push 8. See what it does? Sounds rude to me, comma, but this is my first deposition. Okay? So that's what it needs to be. Me, comma. Everybody have that?
Yes.
Push enter. Does it. Be real careful with what you're doing there. Because if you don't put it in the right thing, let's see if it'll do it.
What's up in movement? I. Thanks.
Excuse me? What's what?
Up in movement?
Yeah. I. K is what?
Down
Left is what?
is L. No,
J.
J.
Left is what? L. No. Okay, so we're right here. What does that need to be? A comma. So global it, which is what?
G.
G. What's the right one?
1.
What's the only one?
I don't know.
Or 2.
There's 2.
Yeah. This one, pay attention. Okay? This one, print. Now you need to global both of them. So what do you do?
Oh, no, you did the thing where you get them both, right? GG.
Well, you can actually push. Let's see if it works. You can do the F7, remember? It didn't work right there. It just globaled 1, and then you have to push F7 again. It's not doing it, I think because we're in the lessons, but whatever. Huh?
I did.
And it did 2? It global both? Try 7. Try F7.
It just
Get out of it, huh?
It just does mine once.
Once? See, it did mine once.
I did it twice.
Yeah, hit it twice.
Hit it twice. And highlight both strokes.
Yeah. Don't do M. Don't do M. Because M is marking it. You need it to global. Because when you global, when you hit M and hit enter, it's going to do something else. Okay? And it may. I don't know. Let me see.
In this instance, we hit F7 twice, and it.
Yeah. See what happens? So it doesn't bring up the box that lets you global. So don't mark it. You need to global it. So you want it to global, which is what?
G.
But you need 2 strokes. What is it?
G.
Huh? What is it?
F7?
F7.
Speak up.
F7 twice.
Or Huh?
Or G, double arrow.
Well, tell me you don't know. It's okay. I mean, I'm just testing you. How would you global two strokes? Control G. Or you can do G and then Control G. It's just easier for me to hit Control G twice. Whatever. So see what happens when you hit Control G? Now it brings up the box. If you push M, it doesn't bring up the box. So you don't want to mark it. You want to global it. Okay? And there's a difference. There's a difference. Okay? So
how do you, so I hit F7 twice, but if I want to try the global, how do I get it unmarked?
escape.
Escape? Okay.
What was that supposed to be?
Huh?
What's print?
It's supposed to be parentheses.
Oh,
So open paren. So how would you do it?
Bracket, I mean brace, maybe?
okay.
So brace, paren, brace. Got it? Huh?
Is it like this?
Well, but it's only open. It's only open. If you do both, then it's going to put them both together and it's going to put it right at the beginning. So you need one paren for open and maybe paren asterisk for close, paren. Does that make sense? You can't have it because when you do this for that, it's going to do that every time. So it's going to do the open paren every time. So you have to do an open paren and a closed paren every time. Guys, the next time I use the paren thing will be the first time I use the paren thing. If you have time to do that, once again, you're going to make a lot of money at this. A lot. Okay? And you know what? There are some people that do it. There are. You know, and if you have time to do it, great. You know? I don't. You know, and I'll just tell you straight up. I mean, guys, when they're going and it's like, you know, reporter's note, this should be an answer, check here. I don't need a paren for that to tell me, you know, because you can write little notes to yourself. You know, like something was going on or whatever. You know what, I did here. You know what, because I need to listen to the tape right here and make sure that it was correct. So I can write little notes to myself so when I'm editing, I know when I was, you know, I need to pay special attention right here. You know, I hit must. I don't know. She may have said most. I don't know. You know, here. You know, I don't need an open paren for that. Open paren, here, close paren. Really? You got a lot of time on your hands if that's what you're doing. All right? So you don't really need it. They're just showing you how to do it. Okay? Can you see?
No, quick question. What
Okay.
characters did you put in?
You sit up here. Huh?
Which characters did you put in that box? Just the
Open
braces?
braces.
Open brace, closed brace?
Well, it's a paren.
Open brace, open parentheses, close brace.
Yeah. So it's the brace,
No, just the.
whatever you need to put in there, brace. Okay, right here it's paren, so it's a parentheses. Okay? So that's how you do it. You want it in your main? Yes. That's how you do it.
So when you get further down and it says dash dash, is that something that they're intending to look at in the notes, or is that something we need to know about?
That's something you need to, you know, because dash is a word. So now it's going to come up. It's going to come up in English, but you know what? I put dash, and when you're putting it twice, more than likely you want it to do a command. Someone's not going to say, well, over there at dash, and maybe they did. I don't know. Now you're going to have it defined as a command. But the next time you hear dash, or the next time I do, will be the first time. I never heard anybody say dash. You know? I was going to say, you know what? He said dash. Well, you should have done dash, comma, dash is what it's supposed to be. So you should have put a comma in there. It's not dash as a command. Now when you do dash dash, now you're telling it it's a command. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So global it, which is what? It's actually control G.
Wait, are we doing, so we're doing both dash dash? Never mind.
And you should just do bracket, dash, bracket. I mean brace. Actually,
Which
it's
one's
just
the
one.
dash?
We just do one dash? Okay.
Well, that's all they're calling for is a dash.
You press OK
Yeah.
after that, just one dash?
Yeah. Well, that's what it's calling for is dash.
Why do some recorders do dash dash?
And it really should have been two. It really should have been because there was a break in what they were saying. So this should have been an answer. Check here. Oh, sorry. Check here. No, sorry. They would, they changed the train of thought right there, and it should have been two. So what you can do is backspace, and now if you do the dash up at the top, so backspace on it, clear it. So you should be here. And you need it, and there's a space right here, but you're on sorry, okay? Now just do the dash. See how it knows to put the dash? Oh, sorry,
D?
that's
or
what it
dash,
is.
Or where's
No, the dash. The dash up
Oh,
on top, which
got
is
it.
right
Yeah.
above the P and the brace,
I got it.
okay? And it already knows to do it. Well, let's just say that you're at the end of the sentence. Okay, you're at the end of the sentence. Well, you know what? They didn't finish his question because the witness interrupted him. So it's a run-on sentence, and he got interrupted right there. Now you're going to do Alt D right there, anywhere in that sentence, and look what it does. So it puts the dashes at the end of the sentence. You see that?
And that tells the reader and the writer that it was an interrupted
It
sentence.
was an interrupted sentence, is what it was, and that's what that tells the reader right there. It was an interrupted sentence, and then this guy popped in, and when you went to the store, did you? I went to the store. I told you I went to the store. Well, he didn't even finish the question. So that's how you do it. Is you put dashes because he didn't get to finish the question. So it's dashes at the end of that. Well, not at the end where he butted in. Okay.
So on that answer, so it's open parentheses, reporter's note. There should be an answer. Shouldn't there be a close parenthesis somewhere in there?
Well, they should, but they didn't do the paren print to close it. So, I mean, they just did the paren to open it. So unfortunately, they didn't do the second one.
So so reporter's note, there should be an answer. Is check here, what does check here mean?
Check right here in this area.
Probably listen to the record.
It's just saying it's a note. It's a note to yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a note to yourself. Check here. Check on the previous question or whatever. There should have been an answer, and I dropped the answer. If you dropped the whole answer, you shouldn't have had time to write a note to yourself. Yeah. So I better not see that on any of y'all's tests. Check answer here, and you drop the answer. All right. So, so come right here. Got it? I global it, which is what?
Control G.
G. What's the right answer? 1. Push 1.
Number
9. But there needs to be a comma right here. So what do? Huh? Yeah, just push comma. And it's going to know to put it right behind it. So when you do it with the period, question mark, which is the shift, question mark, it knows to do it behind. Okay? So say it needed to be a question right here. Then just use shift, question mark, and it does it behind. When you do it with the actual punctuation, it does it behind. It always does the preceding sentence. When you use the P for period, Q for question mark, it puts it where? At the end. Okay? Why it's not giving examples? I don't know why. But that's how they're doing colon. Okay? The question is, when? That's the question. So they knew to put a colon. So they put clon for colon. Okay? So global that, which is what?
G.
And?
Clon is one.
Guys, pay
open
attention.
brace.
Pay attention. How do you global two strokes?
Oh.
Control G,
Control
Control G.
G, and then Control G or Control G twice. Okay? Guys, we're not reinventing the wheel every time we're doing this, okay? It's kind of the same answers, all right? But I want you, if we keep saying it and keep doing it, it's gonna lock in, hopefully.
Nice.
So how would we do this?
Brace.
Brace,
Colon.
Open brace, colon, close brace.
colon,
Brace.
close brace. Check it out. Look what it's gonna do. Push enter. It already knows what to do. Puts a colon, space, cap next. It already knows what to do. I mean space. It actually put, I just put one, I think. I do two. I don't know, I always put two. So I put colon, space, cap next, and it already knows what to do. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. All you have to do is make sure that you put it in those braces and it's gonna know what to do. Okay? And actually we did that one wrong. So that's the way that you would have defined it, right there. Okay? We did the parentheses right. That's how the dash, but they just said dash.
Yeah.
And you know, it should have been dashes. Okay, and they put the dash, so I did it wrong. So really, you know, if you need to go back.
But it still works, because remember when we hit the dash, it
Yeah.
put the double dashes
Yeah,
in there.
but you needed to define it as dash,
Oh, okay.
dash.
Okay.
Okay? My dashes is all of my vowels. A, O, E, U is my dash. That's my dash. You can do a dash, dash. Huh?
Dash doesn't matter.
You can do it however you want. You could put elemental P, Q, R, S, T, V, I don't know. Whatever stroke you want. Be careful that it doesn't conflict with something else. But as long as that stroke doesn't conflict with something else and you want it to be colon, help yourself. Or dashes, help yourself. But define it correctly. Make sure that it's defined correctly. Okay? Now we did all of this stuff in the your turn. Okay? And you're like, man, I want to go through and I want to watch those videos again and I want to do that whole thing again because I want to know how to do it. How do you do it? Huh?
Go back and watch the
Player.
videos.
Go back to health and to the.
And reinstall the lesson again.
Oh.
And it's going to put it all, check it out. Hold on. Let's make sure we're at the end. Yeah, we're at the end. Okay? So, we're at the end.
Break.
Well, you know what? I want to do that whole thing again because I want to practice on this thing. Okay, no big deal. Check it out. Get out of here. Help. Install. We just did braces. You don't have to do all of them all over again. Just do the one that we just did. Or if you want to do them all over again, you can. But I mean, you just need the one that we just got finished doing. So don't do more than you need to do. Go down to that one. Okay. Help. Lesson player. Braces. How? Check it out.
I was gonna ask you that earlier, but
What were you going to ask me?
same thing, what you're doing.
See what we just did? Now it put everything back that we did. So it puts everything back on there. So you can keep doing it as many times as you want and keep practicing and practicing. Well, you know what? I want to practice some other stuff. You know what? I want to put a question right there. How would I put a question? F3. Look what it does. You know what? I want to go to an untranslate. What's untranslate? You. Goes right to it. So it goes to the untranslate. So go through all of those letters that are on this sheet. You can practice all of this stuff in these your turns. You don't have to do what it's telling you to do. You can do and go through and say, you know what, there's not really a number here, but you know what, I want to put a number in there. So how would I do that? If I want to insert a number right here, how would I do that? And then what? Then just put the number. 22222. Okay? No big deal. Okay? Now I want to change it to money. So what do I need to do? Well, go back into hyperkeys, which is what? Alt Z. And then how would I change it to money? Shift M. Check it out. Pow. Look what it did. And you where to put the comma, it put the money symbol in there. Already did it. Okay? Well, you know what? Now I want to delete that. How do I do that? D. So D, 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 until it's gone. That's all you do. Okay? Let's say I want to find something. How do I do that? Huh?
Shift F.
F. Just F. Or there's another way, and it's F5. F5, or if you're in hyperkeys, you don't need to take your fingers off the thing. Just do F for find. Okay? O for print, F for find. You see how they do the letters and it's right?
Now, if you're in the dictionary and you hit F, will it find in the dictionary?
Now you may have to go to the global magic. So you may have to go to these little entries over here. So kind of be careful. So if you're in your dictionary, you can find stuff in there. Okay? That's a different lesson. Okay? But say I want to find understand. Okay? Type understand, hit enter. Guess what? It takes you to understand. So that's how you do it. Guys, right here. And it's showing you. So now you don't even have to go to a practice thing. You can practice on these things on your turn. You know what? Well, I jacked it all up. Well, who cares? Go back and reinstall that thing. Reinstall the whole thing again. Add things, delete things, make money, make time, you know, whatever. Let's do that. We'll do time. So right here, and I want to put, but this is my first 2 o'clock depot. So I'm 200. Duh. So in hyperkeys, and then you just do what?
T.
Huh?
T.
No, not T. Shift T.
What
Shift
was the
T.
mark again?
Because the small T is going to take you to a trouble spot. So it's always going to be the one. The shift is always going to be the one that you do less. Time is probably going to. It's going to be. You're going to use that less. Then you're going to go to a trouble spot. You're going to go to a trouble spot more often. So they make it the small T, just like the money, and just like ordinals. So you know what? Let's change this into an ordinal. Okay, which is what? This one you may not remember because I think it has to do with numerics, numerals. So it would be what?
Second.
I'm sorry? Shift N. Very good. Somebody was listening. Crazy. So, what'd you say? That's what I thought. So you want it to be an ordinal in numerals, so you just do N. And again, look what it does. So you don't have to go to the end, push N, push TH. You don't have to do it, guys. Check it out. Get on this, push Shift N. You can do it to anything, to any of these things. You know what? I want to change it to a quantity. Push 1. It already did. That is a quantity. So now I want to do it to a generic. Push G. It already did it.
What's H?
Dude.
Does it have Roman numerals?
H is superscript.
Do
But, yeah, there.
So see how it raised it a little bit? That's a superscript, you know? Push Z, and it'll change it. Okay?
What's the note, Roman numerals?
Roman numerals? I think it's R, I believe.
No. Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, R. So
Oh, wow.
CC for 200.
And it's still.
Yeah, superscript. So, I mean, you know, maybe you didn't want it superscript or whatever, but whatever. But, I mean, really the coolest one is the ordinal. So you just do, I'm still doing it in superscript, but whatever. So you do the what? Shift N, and then for the ordinals is N. And guys, you're going to use that a lot because they're going to use dates all the time. You know what? It was February 25th. Well, I wrote February 25. No big deal. Shift N, N, enter. I mean, Shift N and then N, it's already going to put it in there. Enter again, put you back into hyperkeys. If you're not in hyperkeys, you're ready to go. No big deal. Got it?
Yeah.
Guys, use this.